In the nation's hottest cities, the high-end real estate market is constantly evolving, and there are new forces at play right now. So here to fill us in on what's really behind the market report on existing home sales is Jared Seligman, founder of the Jared Seligman team for Douglas Elliman Real Estate. Jared, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Tanya.
You are known for being a broker to the stars with clients such as James Franco, Tommy Hilfiger. I'm curious if the real estate market forces act the same for celebrities or they exist on a different plane.
Well, I think everyone always asks me, what are celebrities looking for? How are they different? And I think that, it's hard to generalize any group of people, but I think everyone is just very different. I have some people that want pre-war, they want to be on top of a building, they want to be on the 50th floor, and I have others that want a loft with, no amenities. So I think it really depends on the person.
Right.
But they tend to like certain things, like, for example, security in a building is very important for a lot of people, and having a driveway into the building is also, for some people, a real deal breaker. So
to avoid paparazzi, right?
Yeah.
Right. So let's look at what's going on in New York in the high-end real estate market. Are buyers moving away from the highly designed glass towers?
I wouldn't say that they're moving away. I think that there's strong demand, both from domestic buyers and international, for a luxury, new, modern construction, especially depending on the location and sort of finish of the building. But in New York, what's so great is the marketplace is so diverse and the architecture is so diverse. So you can have someone looking for a huge historic mansion built in the turn of the 19th century, the early 20th century, or you can have someone who's looking for a penthouse in the sky that was, the first occupants as of weeks ago.
Are townhouses in demand, and those pre-war details you just can't get anymore?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, stronger than ever. And I think that you see these sales for these mega apartments in new developments, but you also see these, even on the co-ops on Park and Fifth Avenue, some really iconic properties that can never be replaced.
So those name addresses, like you said, Park Avenue and Fifth Avenue, they are still very much in demand.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Very interesting to know. And let's look at some of your properties, for instance, in Miami. What's going on in Miami? We've heard there was so much South American money, Brazilian money being poured into Miami. Now we know the Brazilian economy is cooling down a little bit. Is that changing the scene?
So everyone's always asking, who's buying in Miami? What's going on there? And it's so funny. I talk to all of our teams of people that are selling new developments, that are selling resales, single-family homes, and almost always they say the buyer's from New York. It's really remarkable. So we have people from all around the world, but you see in a lot of these new, very expensive buildings, and you see in a lot of these resales, so many people from New York.
And you have a beautiful listing there on North Bay Road. Gorgeous.
Yes, my partner does down there, Darren Tanzi, Villa Paraíso, it's called.
Gorgeous. Now, what is also happening in LA? We have a story right now in the Wall Street Journal about a $100 million home that just sold and all of these listings. Who's buying those?
LA is such a strong market. It always has been a strong market, but I think even recently, we have clients from Europe that are now asking about LA, asking about the Hamptons, that traditionally were to only purchase in New York. And so we just recently had someone from London who was looking at something in New York and ended up buying in Miami, and now is looking at something in LA, and they didn't even buy in New York.
So the market is much more international now.
I think so.
A strong buyer can look at a couple different cities. Well, speaking of the Hamptons, you brought it up. You're seeing a change out there, correct, from people wanting the huge mega mansions to something a little bit more manageable?
Generally speaking, one can say yes. However, I think there is still a strong desire for these iconic mega homes, especially if they have a history, or also the trend of new development out there is quite strong because people, it's usually a second home, a third home. They don't want to do construction.
Right.
So, we see a diverse marketplace, but we see a very strong marketplace if the property is priced well. And that's really the sort of trick in that market.
So it's still very strong, but people aren't just paying any price.
Correct. For a very, very rare and unique property, mostly oceanfront and in certain locations, and the house has to be amazing, you tend to find someone who may pay a little above.
A little above. Jared Seligman, thank you so much for being with us today.